Hey friends, long time no see. I wanted to hop on and share a bit of a revelation I got today. God must be really on talking about things that are hidden, like hard seasons, all this sort of stuff that will one day create something amazing. Because if you saw my post this morning about my garden, and I shared about I love the fact that gardens teach you about that sort of stuff. Well, I was taking one of my kids for a driving lesson today, and we do the same route we always do. We live in a city, and so we live in an established suburb, and we drive across the highway, higher way. He's doing a higher thing. He's changing things, and we do it all the time, and I'm oblivious to it. But today we were driving across the highway, and we went to this new suburb, this super suburb that they're creating across from us. And some of it is established, like it's been built in sections, in seasons, in parts. And as we were driving today, I said to my son, look at all this area. There's still so much area left to build so many houses. And he was like, yeah, there's going to be heaps of houses in here. And I'm like, they're building, they're basically in my mind, I'm taking no notice of what I'm saying. And out of my mouth comes, they're basically building a suburb. They're building a whole suburb, and we're just watching it come to life as we're driving through it every single time. And he was like, yeah, they're building a whole town. And I'm like, they're building everything. And so as I'm saying this, I'm like getting this revelation and understanding as I'm driving through it. I can see so I've seen the groundwork being done. I can see there was dirt piled up in another paddock because they'd taken dirt out of somewhere else and have to store it somewhere else until they figure out what to do with it there. There's infrastructure that's happening. There's roads that are being made for you to be able to come into it and drive around it and navigate it. There is shops being made, like supermarkets being made, so people can be sustained in that suburb, in that place, that people can be able to live there, able to be nurtured and have nutrients there. There is childcare services that is coming, so children can be cared for. There's parks there so that children can have things to do. There is houses that are being established there. But I tell you what, a couple of years ago, there was nothing. There was nothing at all. There was just trees. And the talk of something new was going to be put there. And so it was giving me this prophetic picture of what it looks like at the moment as he's building a new thing within the body of Christ. And so we look at these things, we look at these established moves, we look at the established church or body of Christ as it is now, even established revivals that have come and have gone. We don't think about the fact that it had to start from the ground up. It had to start from somewhere. A new thing was happening each time. Something unheard of, something unknown, and they had to establish it. And the process of establishing something and creating something means you have to build foundationally first. You have to build infrastructure. It's like pioneering out to the great unknown. You have to go out there and you have to start building. But once it's established, like you think about like the West, in America, the pioneers had to go out. They had to go west, and they had to risk everything. They had to take their whole lives. It was a risk. They didn't know what they were expecting. They didn't know what they were doing. They had to learn as they were going. They had to build roads. They had to create roads. There were no roads. They had to create infrastructure. They had to create foundations. They had to create family. They had to build. They had to be committed to the process. And now it just looks normal. And we ignore the fact that there was once nothing there, and it had to be built. It had to be established. And there is a process in that, and there is time in that. It takes time to do that. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so God has been establishing something new in amongst the fact that the old structure and the old thing that God was doing, it was still being done. It was still being worked out. We were still living in that old old move of God, I want to say. And there's nothing wrong with what God was doing before. He's just doing a new thing. He does new things all the time, whether it's little things or big things. He is establishing something, and he's using all the pieces from the past parts of the puzzle, all of those little bits that have already been established, and he's building something as a whole. And he wants the body of Christ to be able to utilize the whole stuff instead of being, well, that's my part and that's your part. It's about all of us together, the establishment of all of it joined together. And so it's about building this super suburb, really. It's like a super suburb. It's like there's going to be roads. People are going to build the roads. There's going to be infrastructure. People are going to have to know how to build the infrastructure. And not everybody's going to build the same part of it. Not everybody has had an understanding of different parts. Like there is moves in the body of Christ that have understood the Father's love. There's moves that have understood the prophetic. There's moves that have understood miracles, signs, wonders, healings, all these sorts of different parts to the building of the body into fullness. We all have, these are all parts of the body walking in fullness, and he wants us all to walk in fullness, complete fullness. And this is what it's starting to look like. He's starting to build this structure, this suburb around it. And you know, when I say suburb, I don't mean he's building a suburb. He's not building a city. But I tell you what, he's establishing something new. And this year, the Lord had told me, well, 2025 and 5785, he told me that it was the year of building where you're at. And I feel like there's an extension of that. And I'm going to share that word today. I'm going to write it up and share that word for 5786 for 2026. It's about the tent pegs being expanded and that he's going to build something. When the Lord was talking to me about this, he kept saying to me, God is building a new thing. He's building a new thing. He's building a new thing. And so in that, he's building a new thing. Do you not perceive it? It's like we can miss it. We can miss those little bits. And it's like, oh, it just looks like the same old thing, or what's wrong with the old thing. And all those different things that come up in us. We have to check what's going on in our hearts as we're helping him, not helping him. We are being vessels for him to build the new thing, because he needs people connected to him. He can't do it because he's God. And we are on the earth, and we're called to establish the kingdom here on earth with him in us. It's huge. There's so much to this. But yeah, I will share that word today, because I know lots of you have been saying, what are you seeing for 5786 and 2026, and what are you seeing at the moment, because you've been really quiet. But yeah, I will share that today. But I thought that was a really great analogy of what it kind of looks like, to remind us that it's not, everything's not just instantly established. There's a process of pioneering. There's a process of transformation. There's a process of building, becoming, structurally building things. And even like something else he said to me was that you have to know the blueprints, and you have to understand what the blueprints say and put everything in the right place. And so we even have to understand the blueprints. To even understand the blueprints will take time. It all takes time. So hopefully that helps today. Have a great weekend, and I'll share that word today.